Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And my mic is too far from my face.
That's Andrew.
Yes,
his mic
sir.
is too far from his face. This is what happens when we don't record for like 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
His mic gets too far from his face.
It drifts away. It's like a gravitational orbit. It's more like an oval than a circle, you know. That makes a lot of sense to everybody. We're doing great. We're just shaking off the rest. All right, I believe in us. We're here to talk about Adventures in Odyssey.
Amen to that. We are talking about episode 684, The Green Ring Conspiracy, Part 6.
We're halfway done with this album.
Yeah, exactly. We're halfway done with this half of the saga.
Amen. So exciting. We are at the end of day 2.
Yeah, it's true.
Which,
you make a great point. It ends at a carnival.
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
As we talked about previously, the way all good television shows end.
Certainly the 2016 ones?
Is that what we just... I thought it was 2018. It doesn't matter. 2019? Yeah. Who knows?
The year of the carnival. You know what we're talking about.
You do, because you've listened to us previously, and we've had this conversation.
We really pay off longtime listeners here.
Amen to that.
Do you have a bucket on your head?
No. So, keeping with our minimal context theme, we have one new voice actor in this episode. We have Dan Hagen voicing Archie Hagler.
Yeah, his voice is uncomfortable.
It's a choice for sure. I feel like it is less his voice and more the words he's saying.
Yes.
Which I know is extremely intentional. Like, he's supposed to feel like a greaseball, and they're doing a good job of that. But yeah, Dan Hagen has another role in Adventures in Odyssey, recurring, which is that he voices Wilhelm Holstein, who in New Odyssey is Fred Holstein's brother, who has taken over Holstein's books.
Oh, what? I didn't know that Holstein's books carried on.
So apparently it does, but with a different Holstein.
Interesting. I mean, I'm here for it.
Because Kidsborough is the last appearance of Fred Holstein.
Ah.
But then, in the years since, they have introduced Wilhelm. And he's voiced by Dan Hagen, who voices Archie.
What a great name. It's almost as good as Wootenberry.
Almost. Aside from that, Dan Hagen's got like 103 IMDb credits, a lot of small appearances, some video game voices, whatever. He was in an episode of Seinfeld playing a character named Rick, and an episode of Friends playing a character called the Casting Director.
Really plumbing his artistic depths there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I mean, he hit 2 of the biggest seminal sitcoms, so.
In the 90s.
Yeah,
and like all time. Yeah, definitely.
Arguably.
Seinfeld has aged better than Friends, in my opinion.
I fully agree. However, Friends is more beloved.
Yeah, well, people are wrong sometimes.
Apparently, Gen Z just loves Friends.
I don't get it. Honestly, I've watched Friends. It's mediocre at best. Like, Seinfeld at least is filled with really funny stand-up most of the time, and the characters are super lovable. I don't need to justify this. Seinfeld's good. It's aged better. If you think that Friends is better than Seinfeld, please write us an email explaining why, and then we will probably not respond. But
yeah. No, that's totally fair.
We'll know.
We'll always know.
Like wit. Oh man, the Chris outro. We'll get to it.
I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
But before we can get to it, look at that segue. Oh
so
man,
good.
On fire. Let's roll a promo.
It seems like everyone in Odyssey is connected to Uncle Archie's carnival and the Green Ring. Some are going to the carnival undercover.
Who knows where Agent Tanner is hiding?
I don't think she's gonna recognize me, what with the clown outfit and all.
While others are simply there for the sights.
I have to witness Eugene on the Tilton Whirl.
He screams like a little girl.
I do not.
Come along for the fun and mystery next time on Adventures in Odyssey.
The amount of Will Ryan screaming in this episode is Probably top all time, I feel
Can we just get it away off the top? Great Eugene and Katrina episode.
Oh, yeah. Stupendous.
Like, one of the best, like...
They get each other so well.
I realize I'm saying this from a point of not having full recollection and understanding, but from what we've covered, my favorite post-Novacom Eugene and Katrina, like after they leave the show and then come back, their dynamic in this felt the most like the old ones than in any other thing that we've covered.
Yeah, I'm struggling to compare that in my mind, but I definitely understand what you're saying as far as their
feel like
dynamic.
like Eugene Returns, they have a particularly good dynamic.
No, they really don't.
And so, yeah, and obviously there's stuff in there we haven't covered, and so it's not as fresh in my mind. But I was just like, oh, this episode feels like their dynamic feels like an extension of like
The relationship that was
until
founded in Novacom.
Unto Us a Child is Born.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it feels like that level of just like comfort with each other and like that knowing the other
person so well that you just kind of understand. And like, I don't know, it's a great Katrina and it's a great Eugene episode, and their relationship is what makes it so good. Like the way that Eugene responds to Katrina when she's flustered is so good and like empathetic and understanding, and also like not condescending at all, even though he kind of takes jabs at her at times, which is
but
good.
like I was gonna say, I like them taking jabs.
Yeah,
that's part of why I think it works. Anyway, that's all to come.
Yes,
we start the episode in stereo. Did you notice this? Did you listen to this with headphones?
Yeah, listen to it with my AirPods in.
So it's Whit and Polehouse entering the house and Monty there, and they absolutely pan left to right.
You're right. That is cool. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that.
I was just like, Odyssey essentially never does that. But yeah, for whatever reason, that choice was made just for a brief scene off the top.
Well, yeah, and it gives the idea of like looking from one room into the other.
Yeah, no,
essentially.
it does space really well, and I'm like, I would love to see them
do this more, maybe.
Yeah. We've talked about the. I mean, this was years ago now. I think in the early days of the podcast, but we talked about the excellently produced Wolverine audio drama that like uses stereo to its fullest.
Yeah,
and I'm not
it's
saying
insane.
Odyssey needs to go that hard, but
they could.
But I was just like, oh, that is a really fun flourish that we don't get in the show often, ever. I don't know, and it's weird that it's just like this little tidbit off the top, but I dig it.
I'm here for it. If you're listening and you're important, make more decisions like this.
I mean, who can argue with that?
Certainly not.
So yeah, Whit and Polehouse recap that like the description that Penny gave matched the description that Monty gave of this person, and all of these signs are now pointing to the carnival. And Whit's like, or are they leading us to the carnival as a distraction or something? Is that just what they basically like? Is that just what they want you to think? Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Polehouse then like takes a moment to like throw the hagglers under the bus as like all sucking.
Yeah, which is not great. I mean, obviously, that's been previously established in other episodes. I don't know. But I mean, obviously Whit stands up for them, which is good.
He stands up for the hagglers, which I really appreciate. And then when Polehouse goes further to point out that the carnival would be a great front for the counterfeiting operation, Whit gets like really defensive and a little upset. And I appreciated that. But also, the man is on record as hating Uncle Archie's.
Yeah.
That was established in like the first episode, and we were like, why does Whit like have to have like god hatred for this carnival.
Yeah.
And like in this one, he's being like
Sympathetic.
empathetic and like trying not to, like, hoping the best for them, which I cannot be clear enough. I really appreciate. Like, I don't want Wit
this is
to
a good
be-
idea.
I don't want Wit to be a jerk about it. I'm just saying it's funny that like the man who hates the carnival is also the one coming to its defense in this instance.
Yeah. Well, and, just foiling Polehouse and his kind of blanket statements probably leads him to be more empathetic, which is kind of how that works, which is good and exciting. I hope that they continue that with Wit.
Yeah. I mean, I love an empathetic Wit.
We do. We stand empathetic Wit on this podcast. So then they decide that they're going to go to the carnival, check things out. That's, going that night. And Monty wants to come with. They say, you're in no condition to do that. Like, what if they recognize you? There's just all these red flags. And Monty decides to go as a clown.
Yeah. A balloon selling clown. Because
So he doesn't blow his cover, which he proceeds to blow his cover.
immediately. But before he can blow his cover, he does say that he can't just stay back in the house. He has to go and see what's going on with the Green Ring conspiracy. Like,
Dun, dun,
he
dun.
he says the whole thing, and I'm like,
With the Green Ring Conspiracy Part 6 tonight.
we'll be back right after this break. Like, it
Pans away.
It was just such a, like... It was such a strong roll credits.
Yes.
Because...
Overwhelmingly so.
Because he's not a... Like...
It doesn't feel in character for him to say that.
No, it does... It is a title that doesn't sound like it's anything anybody would say out loud.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with them referring to this stuff as a conspiracy, and I know they've been talking about the counterfeiters as a green ring.
Yeah.
But even,
Putting that all together
just
for
like
the first time in that moment is weird.
Because it sounds like a proper name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you out here naming,
Your album?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So yeah, we go then to Connie and Penny, and Connie is exhausted from the encounter with Polehouse.
Yeah.
Penny is exhausted from drawing a banana.
I mean, goodness gracious. I've only drawn a banana in like 4th grade art class, and I was pretty tuckered out after that. So
Yeah, I mean they've got like 5 sides. That's hard to handle.
Yeah.
Then Andrew, who walks through the door?
Wooten! He bursts through the door and he's so excited.
And I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we get Wooten at a carnival again.
Dude, it has been way too long since we've talked Wooten.
Yeah,
This
he's
is the
coming
problem
in,
with-
slinging it, and Penny is like. So this is the first time when Wooten meets Penny, and now knowing that they like get married and stuff, it makes this meeting like so much cuter.
Yeah, but like it's a pretty cute, like there is extremely clear, like they're playing into that.
Oh yeah, totally.
The chemistry is palpable.
Yeah. I mean, not even necessarily palpable. Like you rubber stamped on both their foreheads, like goo goo gaga type stuff.
The wiki, which tracks a like Wooten and Penny relationship arc as like one of the sagas or whatever, lists this as like the first episode. Because
It's
of
the
course
first-
it is.
yeah.
Like because they're meeting and it's not just like, oh, they are both in an episode together. It is very clearly
Them meeting. The relationship begins. And Wooten is legally not allowed to have a romantic interest if a carnival is not involved. So,
Are you implying that he and Connie had a romantic interest?
I mean, I felt it. I don't know if they did. So anyway, Wooten
Connie's
and
exasperation with Wooten in this episode is hilarious.
Penny, yeah, certainly not relatable at all. We'll talk about the third wheel rap that this. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we will. But first, let's discuss the fact that I'm Eugene and Andrew's Wooten.
It's very cute. I love it, and I think it's true to form. I think 2.5 years into this podcast, it's time to actually pull back the curtain. We are Wu Jin.
You can't argue with that, folks.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, back to the episode. Penny and Wooten hit it off super well. They both know the same comic book artist, and he talks about wordplay. She talks about art style.
She talks about being. He asks if her name is short for Penelope, and she says only if you put my first and middle name together.
Yeah, which implies that is it Enelope? That's her middle name.
Maybe
Penny Enelope Wise.
Sure.
I'm okay with it. It should be canon.
There. Stamp it. Proof. It's good. And then Wooten jokes about his name being short for Wootenberry, which is funny.
Yeah, it's actually really funny. And is that the first time that that's brought up?
I mean, it's not actually. I'm sure that's a joke.
Is it?
Andrew, it has to be a joke because he then launches into this whole spiel about attending a conundrum club at the college, which is a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit disappointed because he's talking about the conundrum club. He's like, yeah, we just sit around pondering questions that don't have answers. Like, why isn't there another word for synonym?
That broke me as a child.
And I was like, this is the best.
Yeah. Or why would anybody put an S in the middle of the word lisp? I remember hearing that whenever this came out and just being like, that's so mean. Why would you do that?
Yeah. It's great. But then he actually reveals that he's there to give a comic book talk on Lee Kane, which is a amalgamation of Stan Lee, the co-creator of Spider-Man, and Bob Kane, the co-creator of Batman.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Wait, what's the co-creator of Batman's name?
Bob Kane.
Bob Kane. Okay.
So Spider-Man is Stan Lee, Steve Ditko. Batman is Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So they went Lee Kane, which works. But
as
it
opposed
is
to Kane Finger.
but yeah.
It's my favorite James Bond
No,
movie.
I mean, no, if they had done it the other way, it would have been Ditko Finger. Then Wooten in an amazing moment of he either lacks self-awareness or is incredibly comfortable being forward.
Invites them out to the carnival.
Yeah, yes. He asks Penny and Connie to go. It is very clearly
you both should come, but Penny should come.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just dude, that move of I just met you, let me ask you out is amazing. So much props to him. Obviously they clicked well.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine pulling that off.
No, I am very comfortable in that in that realm, and I don't do that ever. That's the amount of stones on that man to just invite. I mean, I guess if the carnivals are calling.
He made it work really well.
Yeah.
Connie and Penny set it up before he walked in, saying they didn't really have anything going on in the night, trying to come up with something fun. Wooten interrupted and was like, oh, well, we got to
have something fun to do.
You guys should come with me to the carnival. And then he and Penny bond over the fact that she created the art for the carnival.
That's a great poster.
No. Oh, they're very cute.
Yeah, they're really cute. It's a fun dynamic, and it is the incendiary scene for the third wheeling trope we get for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And huge shout out to both Kimmy Robertson and Jess Harnell for just killing it.
Yeah, knocking it out of the park from scene one. Or maybe that's on Paul McCusker for the writing. I don't know. Just good job.
Yeah,
Odyssey.
well, there is for sure a couple elements that are making it work, but I'm really into it. We then jump to the other third wheel arc of the episode, which is Emily asking Matthew if
he's gonna go to
so it's like
Carnival.
it's Matthew and Eugene talking, and then Emily's like, "Oh, are you guys done with being secretive?" And and then she's like, "Oh, are you gonna go to the carnival, Matthew?" And he hesitates, and then she stomps off.
Yeah. He's like, well, and then she leaves.
Yep. And then
Which Emily gets treated so poorly this whole arc that I'm learning that I didn't pick up on last time.
it is tough because she is not doing herself any favors and also constantly getting like the
Yeah.
bad, like drawing the short straw. Like
Yeah.
it's just like she like her kind of like it sucks on like they both suck for different reasons where I'm just like, Matthew, why are you keeping secrets? Why are you being so dumb about the manner in which you keep these secrets? Emily, like, maybe don't take things that personally. Maybe don't stomp off like before he can respond.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was more so referring to Emily getting manipulated by Buck emotionally.
Oh, yes. I mean, we do have that coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I mean, at least he's a minor, and
Right,
we don't have
right.
the
Lucy,
Lucy
Maxwell.
Wow, Jinx, you owe me a ginger beer. How about that?
I mean, I'll gladly buy you a ginger beer. I've done it before. I'll do it again.
Don't tempt me.
But yeah, it is just, yep. It is
Yeah.
a repeat of that motif, but less problematic this time. Mm-hmm. Still sucky.
Anyway, so Emily then leaves, and then Katrina enters.
Yep.
And she's going to the carnival so that Buck's guardian can sign the form, as we previously established. And so, Eugene offers to come along too. They've never been to a carnival together. We get a
He's
really
like,
fun
yeah,
scene.
We haven't been to the carnival since we've never been to the carnival, Eugene. Oh yes,
How does he
that's
know that
when.
she screams like a little girl then?
So my assumption there is that there are tilt-a-whirls that are at like amusement parks and they've never actually been to a carnival.
Okay.
That is what I'm going with.
That works for me.
It's a thin thread, but it's the only one that made sense.
So maybe they have one at Old West Fun World.
Perhaps.
Put it on the merch.
I rode the tilt-a-whirl at Old West Fun World, and all I
survived.
got was this.
Oh man. We need to do it in like the you wouldn't download a pizza font.
Oh man. So yeah, and then Matthew, who's been standing kind of on the sideline of that whole conversation, is like, "Yeah, I should probably go as well."
So Emily doesn't yell at me.
Yep. Then we jump to Whit, Polehouse, and Monty parking on the other side of the woods from the carnival, and Monty's gonna go out and scout around while Whit and Polehouse go to talk to Archie. There's also some plainclothes officers around the area, which is an interesting thing because it doesn't come up.
No, not really, except for when Polehouse calls his plainclothes officers clowns later. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is the...
But no, yeah, well, and also, like, why... I feel like... I mean, I guess if it's undercover, but there definitely should be some, like, visible police presence at the carnival, I feel like.
I don't know. I imagine the carnival has its own security or whatever. Like, I don't... But...
Yeah, they're large, tall, skinny, long-haired, bearded women.
Southern accents.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we jump to Connie third-wheeling hard as just Wooten and Penny continue to be cute.
Yeah, and they want to ride on all the rides and do all the stuff together. And is this right when they get off the tilt-a-whirl or something? And she's talking about her brain or her insides hemorrhaging?
Probably.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Oh, there's a lot of... I think last episode we talked about these weird cuts where they'd like cut away to the same scene like a moment later.
Yeah.
This episode has a problem where they like cut to nothing scenes and then cut away. So like we're just gonna go broad, I think, with the second half of this episode, because there's a lot of like jump to Connie groans, jump back to
Monty groans.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is interesting. It kind of gives the, if it's all taking place at the same time, relatively, that kind of cinematic thing where they jump around to a bunch of different things that are going on, but
right, especially because they're all in this central location, which we don't normally have
all at the same time.
So like, because you're not actually changing like the atmosphere, you can get away with doing these smaller cuts because you don't have to establish the location every time. So like, I understand why they did it. I think it's a good choice. I think it works really well. It's just like, as far as recapping, like we don't need to break down every time they cut a scene.
Yeah, exactly.
We do go then to like, we get introduced to Archie by Polehouse and Wit talking to him and him just being
sleazy,
over the top and dodgy.
Yeah. What? Oh, that describes most of the people that work here. Oh, and then Polehouse asks Archie about the poster and everything like that, and he's like, oh yes, it's something I do to help the community. And then, Polehouse kind of calls him on his bluff that like, no, you paid somebody to take care of this, so like I need you to I need the name of the person you paid.
Right, and then he's like, oh yeah,
I'll get my assistant Tiffany to do it
to check the records, and then we jump back and he's like, oh yes, I've she checked the records and they couldn't find anything, but like if you can get a warrant, you can check them yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, why am I turning into Bane?
You can check them yourself. Your precious carnival.
I guess it's not that far off, but it's still wrong.
He wears a mask. Lots of people at carnivals wear masks. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a thread there.
Yeah, you're right.
I wear a mask. We're all
It's
Bane.
2021. We're a mask wearing people.
Exactly. Safety. It's important, even if you did get vaccinated. I'm sorry. It's annoying. I get it, but
Although the guidelines are loosening up in that regard.
Yeah, which is so nice.
And who knows where we'll be at when this episode comes out.
Exactly. You don't know when we're recording this.
And you never will. We then go back. So this is Buck finding Katrina, and Katrina's like, "Oh, thanks for finding me because I wouldn't have found you."
Yeah, we didn't set up a place to meet.
The carnival is large, and there are 1 million people here.
Yeah, because there's 1 million people in Odyssey.
Sure.
Yep, works out. I mean, if there's a counterfeiting ring, probably a good amount of people there. Yeah. So this is like super sketch. So he takes Buck walks Katrina back behind the House of Mirrors to meet Skint, which is like red flag after red flag.
Oh yeah,
and this
he's
scene
parked in a truck.
Yeah, exactly. And does she get in the truck to sign the papers, or I think
he gets out.
Yeah.
I'm imagining him signing the papers on the hood of the truck.
Yeah, very much that, or maybe the tailgate. We don't know.
Hood's smoother though.
It's true. Better for writing. Mm-hmm. But be careful if you use a pen. You might stab right through.
This has become truck advice with Andrew.
It's the sequel to Car Talk that nobody asked for. So this, and like we said, so in this scene and the scene in which Katrina meets Mr. Skint, there's so many red flags and inconsistencies compared to the story that Buck gave Katrina during the interview. And it's really frustrating for me as the listener, at least now, looking back, being like, these people put so much intentionality on using burner phones and stuff like that, but they can't even get a cohesive story straight.
Yeah, right. Because Skint is not, like, Buck gives the whole, like, he's, like, promotes carnivals, right? Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah.
He explains that.
Yeah.
He's the person who goes ahead during the interview. And then for some reason, Skint
can't be at carnivals?
Changes that story up, and I'm just like, this is
he has a condition.
Right. Yeah,
I have a condition.
Yeah. And it's like, it's nothing that is strong enough to where Katrina can point to it and go, they just said two contradictory things. Mm-hmm. But it is a lot of stuff that doesn't quite a line
Yeah.
right, which I think is what they're going for, but is like, how in the world did like Skint and
Fall
Buck
off. Yeah.
not
they fumbled
have
the
this
bag
already?
here.
Like they bought, or they
Rented a house.
yeah, or hid in a house, or
Yeah.
whatever that it is they're doing.
They at
borrowed
least
a
took the
house.
plastic off
They
the furniture
borrowed
in
a
the
house.
house,
There,
yeah.
there's what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he does sign the forms though,
Mm-hmm.
and Katrina has tells Buck he can start to work
The next
tomorrow.
day, yeah.
And then he tells Buck to kind of go off to the carnival, and
Yeah.
he kind of, walks away. And then Katrina's like, "Why do you have him call you Mr. Skin?" And he's like,
Why
well,
wouldn't
what
he?"
else would I call him?
Yeah. So, yeah, again, another moment of like, what are you doing? Okay. What? I mean, I guess if he's his guardian, whatever, but like, you would think that they would at least be on a first name basis.
For sure.
Or at least make one up, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Use a burner phone and everything, but you can't make up a fake name.
Monty then shows up back there. I guess Katrina leaves.
Yeah.
Monty arrives.
In clown
He
costume.
He offers Skin a balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And then is like, the doc, whatever. I'm like, what? Why? did
Just
you
run
do
right
this?
up to him. He recognized that it was the guy.
Right.
And he walks right up to him, offers to sell him a balloon.
Right.
Great, that's fine. Staying in character, getting in
Yeah.
close, close
funny.
proximity. And then he's just like, "You know me." And then Skin's like, "Yeah, I do know you. What are you doing? You're going to jeopardize this whole operation."
Yeah.
And instead of staying in character, Monty's like, "What exactly would I be messing up?" Like,
Right. And
they're
then
so bad.
And then someone I wrote in my notes that I assumed it was Buck, but it might not be. Mm-hmm. Someone hits Monty over the head, and
Yeah.
then they carry him to the truck. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just another random carnival worker, or if Buck doubled back. But then we jump to a scene where Buck's running up to Matthew and Emily, which
Yeah.
would work if he left after Skint said you can go be with the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
Katrina had her little interaction, then he keeps going. So maybe it is just a random carnival worker. I don't know. It's a little unclear.
Maybe his stunt double.
Yeah.
The lady with the tall and southern accent and the long hair and the beard.
Also, there's something about in that scene Monty playing this clown
Yeah.
that felt very much like Mitch being the happy
Yes.
giraffe.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're in, because what his screen name is someone the happy giraffe.
It's not like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Geraldo or something like that.
But it's something
Funky.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this just feels like the natural extension there of oh yes.
Well, and it's fun, but again, also Monty, what are you doing? And Skint does this thing where I was like, "Oh, look behind you," and he's like, "You won't expect me to fall for that," and he just gets clocked upside the head, and Skint's like, "Well, but you did." It's yeah. I mean, Monty is unconscious a lot.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really knock him out a lot.
I know. I feel bad for his head.
Yeah, he's probably got
Connie's
some
worrying
brain
about this internal hemorrhaging, but Monty, on the other hand, actually has reason to be concerned.
damage. Yeah, certainly.
Oh man, imagine putting Monty on a tilt-a-whirl in his current situation. Actually, we should have a talk about that. Mm-hmm. They keep saying tilt and whirl.
No, it's tilt-a-whirl.
It is, but they say in the episode tilt and whirl. Have you ever
Maybe
been
that's
on
a Midwest thing where they fully, separate the two. I don't know.
But it's a tilt-a-whirl, not a tilt and whirl.
It's a carnival. You have to have hyphens in the name of the rides.
Yeah, I'm like, why are we tilting and whirling? We should be tilting a whirling. Oh, right, yeah. All right. I guess what you're saying makes sense. But it sounds like someone reading a script who has never actually
been on a tilt-a-whirl.
Right.
I've only been on a tilt-a-whirl once or twice.
I've never been on a tilt-a-whirl.
They have one at the effort of.
Yeah, it's not like I haven't had the option to go on a tilt-a-whirl. I don't like carnival
I can't go
rides.
on them anymore.
I only like bumper cars. I don't like going fast.
Mm-hmm.
I really like carnival rides where I am in control.
Yeah.
Which is why I like bumper cars
Mm-hmm.
and those like ride around on a roller coaster and shoot things.
Yeah.
And that is about it.
I like Ferris wheels are nice.
Nope, I don't do heights.
Oh. Interesting. I didn't know that. So like, is that the same thing when you go to an amusement park too?
Yeah,
I
basically do nothing.
Well, honestly, we're in the same boat because I used to be a thrill seeker, but now if I go on a roller coaster, I pass out almost every time. So,
Thanks, Potts.
yeah, just gravity throwing me around, making my blood do all kinds of funky things, and I always end up unconscious.
Eesh.
And that's been Chronic Illness Corner with Andrew.
The part of the show where Andrew comes out and says a chronic illness. So, yeah, we then jump to like I established, Buck finding Emily. Then Matthew shows up, and Emily's like, "Oh, well, like, you know, Buck, you should join us."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, let me use my connections to get to the front of the roller coaster line."
I know
and
a
Emily
guy.
swoons
Yeah.
and then repeats that
Oh,
to
yeah.
Matthew, who's like, "Yeah, I was there."
Yeah, okay, I get it. He's got connections. All right, fine. His dad literally works here. I mean, not dad, but like.
Guardian, and we don't know that.
Oh, I guess they.
They don't, and no one does, seemingly.
Well, no, it's already been established that his dad works for the carnival. Well, or that Skint works for the
To
carnival.
Katrina?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's been established within the show, so I'm not spoiling anything.
No. I'm not
Okay.
saying you're spoiling anything. I'm saying, like, these characters don't know that, though.
No.
Like,
no,
kind of no characters know that. For sure.
Except for Katrina.
Kind of, but even she has reason to not know because Skint was not forthright about it.
And he fumbled the bag. What a nerd.
We then get Wally and Jay going to talk to Archie.
Yeah, that was fun and weird, and
A scene that only exists so that Polehouse can step out of the shadows.
yeah, pretty
Like-
much.
Like, Wally has no reason to be at the carnival. I get Jay going there. But, like, Wally could confront Archie at any point. There's no reason for him to be doing this now. I guess he followed Skint there is the implication because of him using the GPS tracker.
That's fair.
But, like, he didn't need to have this confrontation.
No,
it's
certainly
just
not.
there so that Polehouse can step out of the shadows and be like, see,
See?
Wit? I told you
Suspicious.
every haggler sucks.
Yep. And that's clearly what's happening here. Certainly not Wally defending his, integrity.
So yeah, then Wit and Polehouse go to try and find Monty. We jump back to Buck and Emily. Matthew has disappeared.
Miraculously, Buck won Emily a stuffed dinosaur, and we had a little joke that he says about opening cans with a gun in his house.
Yep.
Little redneck-esque situation going on there, and Emily's just like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously she's like head over heels, and then Buck asks Emily if she can help him find his lost phone. I lost it in the woods the other day, and he's going to talk to her about it tomorrow. Is that what's established here?
Yeah, they're gonna meet tomorrow at Wit's End.
Yeah.
And he's gonna try and locate this Appleberry with her because she's an amateur detective.
Of course.
And to her credit, Emily then does say, I should go find Matthew.
Yeah.
I feel bad for deserting him. And Buck's like, no, Matthew's a big boy. He can handle himself.
Yeah. Buck, why?
And Matthew handling himself is him
Finding
sitting on a
Connie.
bench, him sitting on a bench with Connie, and they both talk about being third wheels.
Yeah.
And Connie tries to offer advice, and then Matthew's basically like, yeah, but you're doing this too.
Yeah.
And then Wooten runs up, explains that Penny is lost in the Hole of Mirrors.
I can hear her, but I can't find her. It's so funny.
It is really funny. So Connie goes to help with that. And then my favorite part of the episode happens where Jay steps out from behind a trash can.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Jay just kills it this episode.
I love Jay so much.
Because he's not to be trusted. Mixing the words around doesn't make it make sense.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's this
man.
whole bit about where Matthew's like, it's unhealthy to chew gum that's been thrown out by other people. And he's like, oh, I gave that up years ago.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I get that up. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's so
and then,
funny.
Right. And then the thing he says about like not trusting Buck.
Yeah.
Because he's not to be trusted. And Matthew just killing it with Jay putting words in a different order doesn't make it clearer.
Somebody sell that to like half of Twitter. Yeah. No,
And then, oh my word. And then we still have the other line here where Matthew mumbles like to himself, is it my imagination or are things getting weird around here?
Yeah.
And Jay just yells, things are getting
weird.
having already exited the scene.
Oh, things are getting weird.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's so good. Jay is so funny. I'm so glad that this like arc tangentially involves him a good bit.
I'm just like, oh man, give me all the Jay.
Yeah.
There is apparently an episode called Groundhog Jay, which is Groundhog Day but with Jay. And I feel like we gotta do it at some point.
That would be a good guest episode.
I was gonna say we could find a guest and just have fun with that.
Yeah. Let's see if Colleen wants to cover it.
Yeah, well, we can get Colleen on a better episode, like one
Yeah.
that she knows.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the other side of town,
You mean the carnival?
no, because this is
Eugene and
Katrina.
Katrina.
Yeah, I guess they are still at the carnival,
Mm-hmm.
but it's meanwhile on the other side of the carnival. It's Eugene and Katrina being like, "Hey, Eugene, like we should like go, like I want to go stake out their house and see what's going on there."
Yeah, and this is when Eugene's like definitely picking up that this is a little eccentric, but is like, yes, dear, go for it. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm pretty sure he comes into the scene like kind of excited to be at a carnival and like wanting to try things and like whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he completely just like he understands that Katrina's not going to be happy until this happens, until she finds some more answers, and so he does the right thing and he goes with her.
Yep.
Um,
So there's going across town.
Yeah,
See, I was justified.
yeah. Always are.
That's my goal, is just to prove my justification to you.
Calvinism. What? Did you hear something?
No, it just sounds like silence on my end. There's no audio spike or anything. So yeah, then when they get, we don't actually see that anything happened there,
No.
right?
No,
But
we
we
just cuts
come
away.
back on Eugene just being like, so can we at least do one ride?
time on the Tilt-A-Whirl.
And then Katrina says like, as long as you don't scream like a little girl. And then we cut to a delightful Will Ryan like screaming, but like in
Will
that, like,
Ryan
mix,
Wilhelm like moment.
in that mix of like joy and terror
Yeah.
that is so delightful. Yeah.
His voice does such interesting things when it's yelling, because like yelling as Eugene.
yeah.
It's really funny,
Yep.
honestly. And again, great vocal performance, and like the kind of mania of the carnival is very complimentary to the chaos that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And so like I think that it really benefits Penny and Wooten's dynamic, because they very much have like the kids running around having, causing problems at a carnival aesthetic, and then Eugene and Katrina also have like the more parental kind of outlook. It's very nice.
But I like seeing them be cute, know each other, have fun.
Yeah, going on a Tilton world. Even the wiki writes it correctly. TILT apostrophe N apostrophe WHI.
Oh, so they're writing it as a Tilton whirl.
Yeah, a Tilton whirl, not a tilt and whirl.
No, but I say a tilt-a whirl.
Oh, yeah. I
That's
suppose that's what I say, yeah.
right.
Tilt-a-whirl,
It's tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah.
Not a tilt-and-whirl.
What an interesting word. I feel like the more we say it, the more it's just going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, it is barely a word to begin with.
Looking at it right now, yeah.
It's like the scrambler. So the other, then the thing we end on is Whit coming up on the crime scene that Polehouse and his undercover officers have found, which is Monty's disappearance. There's a white smudge on the ground that Whit points out that all the officers have missed.
Yeah, of course.
So Polehouse is basically just like, looks like, he's pulled his disappearing act again. And Whit's like, nah, not by choice, I'm sure. And Polehouse is like, I don't know. And Whit's like, well,
Look at this paint, and then,
look at the smudge on the ground. It's white. That's clearly Monty's face.
Yeah. Unless, what was he? Was he playing Tonto and tracking the cavalry? Is that the line? Or something like that?
Yeah. Except I believe it is playing Indian, not playing Tonto, which would have been a little bit better. Yeah.
We should probably get away from using that word.
Yeah, it just feels avoidable.
Yeah, very avoidable. But, this was in 2012. Times were different.
Yeah, but like John Mulaney has the joke about feeling it in your feet like a Native American in 2009.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. You make a very strong point. So anyway, Monty has been taken by force.
Like my elementary school textbooks did not say Indian.
No, yeah, none of mine did.
And that was prior to this episode as well.
Yeah.
So
You're
come
just
on,
behind.
focus.
Come on now.
Regardless, so they're finally like, all right, so we think, maybe Skint kidnapped Monty. And then in order to prove that this is still a Christian show,
Whit prays for Monty.
he just says like a one-liner prayer and then we go out.
Yep. And then that becomes the crux for the moral of the episode, which is when things are bad, pray like Whit did, because he always remembers to pray.
Which, like,
good, not
it's
terrible.
not a bad message. It's just like,
that's not what's happening here.
right.
Come on now.
It's the thing that Odyssey unfortunately can't ever get away with, which is like,
shoehorning
this
a
is
moral.
just like, right, they always have to put a moral in. So it can't just be like a fun, relaxed episode where like, hey, a bunch of people are like having fun antics and like it moves the plot along.
And they're not doing anything bad because they are Christian people, but they don't like make the Christianity part of it like a major point.
Yeah. And I understand why it's a part of the show. It's just
of
like,
course.
yeah. But I really like this episode though.
Yeah, me too.
It's light. The story moves a bit. But I think more than anything, it's these interpersonal relationships, which are the thing that I care about Odyssey for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that like, and we've gotten to that I think a lot over the years, but like, it's not like the big mystery or the Bible story, the morals that keep me coming back. It's like a lived-in world where like the characters all know each other and like have relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's the thing that like I think rocks about this show, and this is just a great showcase of it while not being a diversion.
Yeah, and also introducing potential new relationships between Penny and Wooten and all of that and what that becomes. It's really good, honestly. And I think, like I said previously, the carnival as a unifying like place and the sound engineering and all of that, just it provides a really cool different element that I think makes this episode just better. Only good things to say, except for Skint being silly and fumbling his disguise.
Yeah,
I expect better.
And Monty.
Dumb. Monty, what the heck? I'm a security agent. I'm just gonna blow my cover immediately. It's a great idea.
But
with that being said, do you have anything to plug, Dylan?
not really plugging anything here, man.
Yeah, I had something I wanted to plug and now I can't remember it. Oh well, must not have been that important.
I guess not. So yeah, nothing to plug here. But we will be back again in a week. So come back for that. We'll be talking about, and this is going to come as a huge shock to everyone, episode 685, The Green Ring Conspiracy, Part 7.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
WadFam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. Follow the podcast at WadFam Chalk Pod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. The Green Ring Conspiracy Part 6 was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Sabo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the WadFam Chalk Pod.